Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the history and value of Lincoln Wheat penny coins, one of the most collected coins in the United States. Minted from 1919 to 1980, these pennies feature the iconic wheat ears on the reverse and have become famous for their key dates, mint errors, and collectible variations. Let's take a closer look at the wheat penny and find out which ones might be worth more than just a cent. The 1919 Lincoln Wheat penny, struck without a mint mark, was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. This coin is part of the early Lincoln cent series that began in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features a right-facing bust of Lincoln with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1919 to the right. Because there is no mint mark, this coin was struck in Philadelphia, which did not use mint marks at that time. In circulated condition, the coin shows clear evidence of having been used in everyday transactions over the decades. The high points of the design, such as Lincoln's cheekbone, jawline, and hair details, are worn smooth but remain identifiable. The fields around the portrait have likely dulled from use, and the edges of the coin may be slightly worn down. The lettering is still visible, although the finer serifs and curves may appear softer than on a coin in higher grade. On the reverse side, the coin carries the classic wheat ears design, featuring the stylized stalks of wheat curving along the left and right edges of the coin. Between them are the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Above these words is E pluribus unum. In circulated condition, the wheat stalks often lose some of their fine line detail, appearing flatter and more blended into the field. The lettering remains mostly readable, although it may be slightly weaker in spots depending on wear patterns. The 1919 Philadelphia Lincoln cent had a high mintage of over 390 million, making it one of the more common issues from the early wheat penny series. Despite its age, it remains widely available to collectors, especially in lower grades. Its value in circulated condition is typically modest, though it holds historic significance as a coin that has been in use for over a century. The coin is composed of 95% copper, with the remaining 5% made up of tin and zinc, giving it a reddish-brown appearance when new. In circulated condition, this coin may now have a dull brown tone or uneven coloration due to oxidation and handling over the years. Some may show small spots, environmental stains, or dark areas of patina, which are common for copper coins of this age. This 1919 Lincoln Wheat cent serves as a tangible connection to post-World War I America, having circulated during a time of major economic, political, and social change. Although not rare, it is a collectible piece due to its age and place in the iconic wheat penny series that collectors have valued for generations. Next up we have the 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. It belongs to the classic wheat cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958, designed by Victor David Brenner. The obverse of the coin features a profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head appears the motto "In God We Trust," with liberty to the left and the date 1937 to the right. Because there is no mint mark, this specific piece was produced in Philadelphia, which typically did not use a mint mark during this period. In circulated condition, the coin shows signs of wear from handling and use in commerce over the decades. The highest points of Lincoln's image, especially the cheek, jawline, and hair, are usually worn down, and the overall detail on the face and coat may be softened. Despite this, the main design elements are still present and identifiable. The edges of the coin may also appear smoother, and the overall color can vary between medium brown and darker tones, depending on how the coin has aged and been stored. On the reverse side, the wheat ears design remains, featuring the stylized wheat stalks curving along each edge of the coin. The phrases 1 cent and United States of America are centrally located between the wheat ears, with E pluribus unum appearing across the top. In a circulated state, the wheat stalks often lose their fine line details and may appear flatter or more worn. However, the major text and design elements usually remain legible, even if somewhat dulled. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 309 million of the 1937 Lincoln cents, making it a relatively common date for collectors. Its availability and circulated condition makes it accessible to beginning collectors, though it still holds interest due to its age and place in American numismatic history. The composition of the coin is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which gives the coin a reddish-brown color when new. In circulated condition, most examples now have a more uniform brown tone, with some examples showing signs of oxidation or spotting. This coin likely spent many years in everyday use before eventually being retired from circulation. It may exhibit signs of surface contact, small nicks, or minor discoloration. Despite these characteristics, it remains a collectible artifact of the early 20th century and a representation of one of the longest-running U.S. coin designs. The 1937 Lincoln Wheat Penny is often kept by collectors as part of a full date and mint mark set of the series. Although its individual value in worn condition is low, typically ranging from a few cents to perhaps $1 depending on eye appeal and specific condition, it serves as an essential part of any complete wheat cent collection. Next up we have the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted at the San Francisco Mint and is part of the widely collected Lincoln Cent series. This coin features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head is the motto "In God We Trust," with liberty to the left and the date 1944 to the right, followed by the small s mint mark beneath the date, indicating its origin at the San Francisco facility. By 1944, the U.S. Mint had returned to the traditional bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc after the temporary use of steel in 1943. As a result, the 1944 penny has the warm, reddish-brown tone typical of copper coins, though with age and environmental exposure, many now exhibit deeper brown or even blackened surfaces. In this case, the coin is described as having a black shade, which suggests oxidation or toning due to exposure to moisture, air, or possibly improper storage. While this black patina can reduce a coin's aesthetic appeal for some collectors, it also serves as evidence of the coin's long history and journey through circulation. The reverse of the coin bears the classic wheat ears design, with 1 cent and United States of America centered between two stylized wheat stalks, and the Latin motto E pluribus unum above. In a circulated coin, especially one with black shading, the fine details of the wheat ears and text may be less sharp, and the surface might show light wear, small scratches, or dullness. Still, the core design remains identifiable and intact. Over 280 million 1944 Lincoln cents were produced, making this coin relatively common in terms of mintage. Even though it is not rare, it is valued by collectors as part of the World War II era issues and is often sought after for completing a set of Lincoln cents by date and mint mark. The wartime context adds historical significance, as this coin was minted during a period when materials and resources were being closely managed for the war effort. Coins from this era that have developed a blackish tone may have done so due to environmental storage conditions, such as being kept in damp locations or exposed to chemicals or pollutants. This coloring does not necessarily indicate damage, but it does affect eye appeal and, in some cases, market value. Despite that, many collectors still appreciate such pieces for their character and the story they tell. The 1944 penny, even in circulated condition with some discoloration, remains a genuine piece of American numismatic history. While its monetary value is typically modest, its appeal lies in its age, historical context, and role in one of the most iconic and widely collected U.S. coin series. Next up we have the 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark on its coins during this period. This coin features the classic design created by Victor David Brenner, with a right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. Surrounding Lincoln's image are the inscriptions "In God We Trust" along the upper rim, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1948 to the right. The reverse of the coin showcases the well-known Hui ears design, which was used from 1909 to 1958. In the center are the words 1 cent and United States of America, framed on either side by two stylized wheat stalks. Above these inscriptions is the Latin phrase "E pluribus unum," which translates to "out of many, one." This particular 1948 wheat penny is noted to be in good condition, suggesting it retains legible inscriptions and identifiable design features, though it likely shows signs of circulation, such as minor wear on Lincoln's cheek, jaw, and coat, as well as slight smoothing on the wheat stalks on the reverse. Even in good condition, a coin like this typically exhibits some loss of sharpness in the finer details due to handling and age. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 317 million of these pennies in 1948, making them relatively common. However, they remain popular among collectors, especially those assembling a complete set of Lincoln wheat cents by year and mint. The 1948 issue is especially attractive to newer collectors because of its affordability and availability. The good condition of the coin indicate it has been well preserved relative to many coins of the same era. Its surfaces may still show a nice copper tone, possibly a mix of red and brown from natural toning over time. Though it lacks the original mint luster of an uncirculated coin, it has retained its structure and design elements without excessive damage or corrosion. As with many wheat cents, the value of a 1948 Lincoln penny in good condition is generally modest, but its worth goes beyond monetary value. It represents a tangible piece of post-World War II American history. The year 1948 was a period of transition and growth in the United States, and everyday items like this penny offer a direct connection to the economic and social life of that era. Collectors value such coins for their role in telling the broader story of the Lincoln Cent series and for their connection to American history. A good condition 1948 Lincoln wheat penny is a solid example of mid-20th century coinage that remains an appealing piece for both new and seasoned collectors. Next up we have the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark. Was minted in Philadelphia, which at the time did not use a mint mark on its coins. This penny is part of the Lincoln wheat cent series, which was issued from 1909 to 1958 and designed by Victor David Brenner. The obverse features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" on the left side, and the date 1945 on the right. On the reverse, the coin displays the words 1 cent and United States of America in the center, flanked by two stylized wheat ears on either side. Above these is the motto "E pluribus unum," a Latin phrase meaning "out of many, one." This classic wheat design was a mainstay in American coinage for nearly 5 decades and remains iconic among collectors. The coin is noted to be in circulated condition with visible dots. Circulated condition means the coin has passed through many hands over time, resulting in surface wear, loss of original luster, and possible dullness in fine details like Lincoln's hair and beard or the individual kernels of wheat on the reverse. The presence of dots may indicate minor pitting or environmental marks caused by exposure to moisture, dirt, or other elements. These blemishes do not typically affect the basic recognizability of the design, but may influence the coin's overall aesthetic and grade. Despite the wear, this penny still holds historical value. Over 1 billion 1945 Lincoln wheat pennies were produced in Philadelphia, making them one of the more common issues from the wheat cent era. Their abundance makes them an accessible starting point for collectors, especially those interested in coins from the World War II and immediate post-war years. The year 1945 marked the end of the war, and coins from that time are often collected for their historical context as well as their design. Although its monetary value in circulated condition is generally low, the coin's historical significance can't be overlooked. It serves as a piece of everyday American life from over 70 years ago, reflecting both the economic environment and the production capacity of the U.S. Mint during a time of global conflict and change. The surfaces of this 1945 wheat penny may show a blend of brown and darker tones from oxidation and age. While some coins from this era have retained some of their red copper color, circulated examples like this one often exhibit more muted shades. Depending on the extent of the dots or marks, the coin could still be desirable to collectors who value completeness over condition or are building a set that includes all Lincoln wheat cents by date and mint dot overall. The 1945 Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark, even in circulated condition with minor blemishes, is a collectible piece that represents a significant period in U.S. history. Its affordability, iconic design, and link to the World War II era make it a coin worth including in any basic numismatic collection.